Badminton has evolved into one of India's most fast-paced competitive sports, and it is in this athlete's heritage. Purva Barve from Pune is the former world number 8 in the under-19 girls singles and has the highest ranking at number 3 in India's women's singles. Coming from a family rich in badminton history, the sport is in her blood. She has been making headlines from a young age and is known for her agility, tactical awareness and strong technical skills, making her an impressive and daunting opponent in her category. Purva, thank you for being here. It's amazing having you on the show. You've just come off a very hectic competition schedule. You've come back to India with a gold medal at the Slovakia International Open and a silver at the Lithuania Open.
Yeah.
You are also Maharashtra State's current senior state champion.
Yeah.
Congratulations for
Thank
all
you
these
so
three
much.
wins. I'd love to know what your main takeaways from these three tournaments were.
I think when I won Slovakia, that was my first senior international title, so it was a special one. And I had just decided to go one match at a time, and I was pretty confident because I was doing a lot of fitness and training, everything was good. But obviously I was not expecting a lot from me because I was not really doing well before those tournaments. But then as I went ahead in the tournament, I got pretty confident and it went well.
Wow, so you say you go into a tournament without too much confidence and you still come back with international medals. One can only wonder what you're going to do when you're going into your next tournament. Like I said in your introduction, you'd be a very, very daunting opponent. I know you're very active on social media. I actually got to know of your Maharashtra senior state win through an Instagram story. So is this the first time you've won this award?
So this is my fourth senior state championship
Your fourth?
title. Yeah.
Oh wow, okay. So our viewers were very excited to hear what you have to say about your sport, your journey through your sport as well. So let's go back all the way to the beginning and tell us a little bit more about why badminton, why you chose the sport, and were there any mentors or role models that were instrumental in pushing you along towards this decision?
So I started when I was just 7 years old, and my grandmother actually used to play when she was in college or university. And even my dad used to play a lot of sports like football and badminton when he was also in college, but later he couldn't continue because of studies and other things. But he always loved the sport, and like my whole family was always into like cricket and everything. So basically they loved sports in general. So I think for them it was very easy for me to choose a sport. And badminton is an indoor game, so you can play 12 months anytime. So I think that's how I started, and I was very young to even decide anything for myself. But then I think with time I also started getting interested in the sport, and when I started winning matches I got more confident and I actually felt like I can do something. And yeah, that's how I started.
So all this happened at the age of 7.
Kind of.
So many thoughts going through your mind. I remember when I started swimming at 7, I pretty much knew this is what I wanted to do because I loved swimming. I loved how the water felt. So were there any particular aspects from the badminton court being indoor that you liked and pushed you on to feeling like, okay, this is something that I really love to do?
I think when I was a child I was very energetic and I just used to run around everywhere. And then in badminton, when I started, I used to beat older boys, and then I don't know, somehow it was how am I able to do this? And not everybody is able to do that. So I used to be like, okay, I'm actually good at this. Okay. So I used to get very excited. And I think, like I said, eventually when I started winning at state level and national level, I got more interested, and I was like, I think this is what we're going to do.
Just like Moha Nature's perfect formula, every athlete needs that perfect blend of both physical and mental preparation to become a champion. Purva, we'd love to know about how you started training when you did at the age of 7. What were your challenges that you faced during that initial time, and how your training in general has evolved up to now?
When I started, my training used to be more of footwork correction and specific skills and stroke practice and everything, like standing strokes and also obviously fitness. But then it was more about skills, developing basic skills to develop a good base game. And then later when I was, I think 15 or 16 years old, it was more about building fitness levels, endurance levels, and then I started doing gym, so strength training and everything. And when I stepped into the seniors, I realized that it's not just about fitness and then training and everything. You have to be mentally really strong when you play in the seniors category.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's how it's evolved over the years. So yeah.
Right. And through this whole evolution of obviously training, initially, of course, it's perfect. You started off with skill sharpening, technique in particular to build that strong base to eventually, catapult you to what you're doing today. But transitioning from, say, an 11-year-old going to practice every day to added study pressure, added peer pressure, and then, of course, more intense, longer training hours. What are some of the challenges you face through this whole training schedule?
So I still remember when I was in school, I used to wake up at like 5, go for my fitness at 6 o'clock, and then come back at 7:30, go attend school, and come back at 1 o'clock, and again go practice for like 3 hours, and then come home and then study. And then when I actually think about it, I'm like, how did I even do it? But I think in that age, you have that innocence, and then you just have the energy to do anything at that point, I feel like. But yeah, I think because of badminton, my focus levels were like much better, and I could just study for like half an hour, and it used to be enough for me.
I think that's with all, most sportsmen who are, disciplined with their sport, it tends to, their quality overflows into what they are doing in everything else in their life. So I have one thing I've always wondered is, because I've been on both sides of the fence, I teach and I also play 2 competitive sports. You've had the good fortune of competing and training at several academies around India, and then these are, I'm guessing, more team training environments, and then there's also this whole where coaches like to spend a lot of one-on-one time, parents like to have their kids spend personal coaching time, so you get a more nuanced, clear opinion from a coach specifically for you, like a training that is tailor-made for you. Do you, in your opinion, do you feel it's better to be training as part of a team, training one-on-one, or maybe a combination of the two?
I think there should be like a combination of both, because badminton is anyways an individual sport.
Right.
And you need that team spirit at times. You need to play with different kinds of players to, improve your game style. But you also need personal training to improve your own specific skills and everything. So I think you need a combination of both. So yeah, I feel that.
Okay, so and when you talk about coaches, I'm sure you've had coaches training you in Pune. Then when you get to national camps, you've got different coaches training you. So is there any one particular figure that you look to through your training preparation as a mentor? Because you said that badminton can also be a lonely sport. So you, I'm guessing, have to have one go-to person that you look to. So who is that go-to person, if there is one?
So I train with Nikhil Kanetkar.
Right.
So he's also an Olympian.
Absolutely, yes.
And so I've been training with him since I was like 11 years old. So and he's also been like a father figure to me. So it's always him, and like I can share anything with him, and it's very comfortable. And wherever I'm in the world, I just give him a call and just share things, and it's just nice to have a chat with him.
Right. I think where it works for an advantage with athletes, in my opinion, is you've talked about having one coach that you stuck with from the age of 11, so that it takes time to build up a relationship with the coach where you trust him enough, like you say, to call him from anywhere in the world to deal with your problems. There are a lot of athletes, I feel today, who jump coaches several times through a career because they feel like they've got success. Then when they come to a standstill, they stagnate. They feel like and every athlete has that point in their career where they feel like they're not improving anymore. Hats off to you for sticking with trusting the process, so to speak. So a lot of young kids who will tune into this show, I'm sure will have piqued interest in this segment, which is specifically understanding your mindset when you go into your first national or international tournament, for that matter. Because I feel that young kids, when they are great at state level, obviously the next progression is to get to a national championship. And I remember my first nationals, leading up to it, it was one of the most scary memories getting into the tournament. You're in an unknown space, you're out of your comfort zone. So for you, what does a typical national championship feel and look like?
I think the first time I played my first national championships was in 2011 again. And I was selected in the Maharashtra team, and the whole team was there. And I was the youngest, and everybody was senior to me. And I was with everyone, and I think it was in Delhi, and if you know Indira Gandhi Stadium, it's a big stadium.
Yes.
It's a huge stadium. So when I entered, I was actually so overwhelmed, and I was like, I don't know what to feel. I was excited but scared and nervous. I wanted to like compete, but I was also like, you know, how am I going to play here? So it was like a blend of like a lot of feelings. But when I stepped into the court and when I actually started playing, I was just like, I remember I froze kind of for like first 2-3 points. And then when I started off, like after 6-7 points, I was like, okay, fine, we are here now, we have to just like play. And then it was much better. But yeah, it was kind of scary. But then with time, it got better, and you know, I was just used to the big stadiums and the environment and all of that. So yeah.
I'm guessing in a span of say 1 hour of gameplay or so, you sort of started believing in yourself again.
Yes.
I don't think that this is only relevant to 11-year-old athletes. In my personal experience, now that I play competitive golf, after having been an Olympian and doing everything I did in the pool, I went to my first national golf tournament and I froze. I felt excited, I felt scared, I was super nervous.
I think it's natural.
It is natural. And this is the thing I always tell, you know, young athletes today, that you are going to... I was personally as nervous for my last swimming race at 27 as I was for my first swimming race at 7. What I think we get better at is learning to deal with that nervousness.
How you deal with the...
And you know, like the great Tiger Woods says, if you're not nervous for a tournament, no matter how many times you've played, it just means that you don't care anymore.
Exactly.
So I think
you're just casual about it.
It's just casual about it. So you've talked about your nationals. If you froze at nationals, I can only imagine what you felt going into your first international tournament. So tell us a little bit about that.
So in 2015, I won 2 All Indias and became India's #1 in under 15 category. And India's top 3 players get selected in the Indian team to represent India at the Asian Sub-Junior Championships. And that whole year was really good for me because I won state championships, national championships. And then it was really unexpected for me to, you know, just, you know, get selected in the Indian team because I did not expect it at all, like at the starting of the year. And I was in the car and my dad called me and he was like, you're in the team. And I was like, oh. And then he was like, what is, oh, you're in the team, aren't you excited? Like, I didn't know how to react. It was like, I couldn't process. But then, yeah, I was in the team, and then when I got the India jersey, I was trying to like process everything, but it just didn't feel real because when I was a kid, I always dreamt of, you know, representing India and all that, and it was actually happening. And so we went to Thailand for that tournament, and again, when I stepped in, it was the same feeling. And this time there were like Chinese players, Japanese, and everybody was good. And I was like, okay, what are we going to do? Everybody's like damn good. So I think we have to like, you know, just be there and play the best I can. So yeah, that was the feeling. But yeah, the whole experience was something else.
I totally relate to, you know, everything you felt at that point.
Yeah.
I remember Kaohsiung, Chinese Taipei, I got selected to be part of my first international experience. You mentioned you were the youngest in your team for several of these events. I think I was the youngest kid in that team. So let alone, you know, swimmers from other countries, just going in there and looking at 20 and 25-year-old men and women that I have to travel with as part of, you know, the Indian contingent was daunting in itself. So you talk about pressure and obviously you've dealt with it very well to get from a state to a national and now international wins. But pressure never goes away. You're always going to be nervous. I feel there are 2 emotions. There's nervous, excited, and then there's nervous, scared. Either way, you've got to deal with it. And there's nobody really helping you once you're on court. You've spoken to your coaches, but then it's you in the moment dealing with everything, including how you're going to, you know, your tactical skill and all your emotions through it. So you spoke about process specifically. Can you elaborate a little more about what your process is that helps you deal with overwhelming pressure at times?
Okay, so when I was younger, like I said, the innocence and everything was there. So I just used to go and play, and I used to not worry about, you know, if I'm under pressure or like nervous or whatever. I used to just go and play. But like as I grew older, then all those things started coming in my mind. You know, what's going to happen if I lose and all that. And then somehow, I don't know, I used to deny the thought that, okay, fine, I'm not under pressure or whatever. I used to say that to myself. But then it never helped. So this one time I thought about it and I was like, why can't I just accept that I'm under pressure? Just, it's okay, I'm under pressure and you just have to deal with it. It's going to be fine. So when I started doing that, it actually helped me. And then later, I started doing a lot of breathing exercises as well, deep breathing mostly. And so just before the match, I usually, after my warm-up, I just stand and then I close my eyes and I just do deep breathing. I just tell myself that, okay, we are going to be under pressure, but no matter what, just have to go there and play. And I try to visualize a few things that I'm moving well, or I'm playing backhand properly or whatever. So yeah, that kind of helps, and it's like that's like a ritual for me now. So I have to do this before I go in for a match. And yeah, one thing that helps me a lot is not thinking about the result. If obviously in our back of the mind, it's going to be that. Yeah, exactly. But to stay in the present and just have short-term goals helps a lot. Like just go for like 5 points at a time or like 10 points at a time. So yeah, whenever I think about what's going to happen, if I'm going to win or if I'm going to lose, I just remind myself that no, you just have to think about 1 point. Just keep a goal that you have to take next 5 points and then think about later. So yeah, some of these things really help me.
So you're talking about dealing with the moment one step at a time.
Yeah.
You're talking about positive visualization. I used to go and sit behind my lane, behind my starting block, just half an hour before finals, even pre-warm-up. I would close my eyes or I would keep them open and physically watch myself swimming the entire race.
Correct.
I want you to talk a little bit more about this one emotion. You said initially when you were younger and you went to your international tournaments, there was a childlike innocence where you didn't know.
Yeah.
Why I'm asking this question is I had a coach in Australia who once told me that I like to train dumb athletes at times. Because when you have a big man, you have a big guy, he's a 21-year-old guy, but he's mature and he also has a lot of knowledge about the sport. What happens is he starts overthinking and then he starts over-planning. So my question to you is, what if you were to plan, just for the sake of argument, yes, you have your process in place, you have your visualization in place, but just what if you were to go into your next tournament, getting into the mindset of an 11-year-old who didn't know too much about her surroundings, or if your coach were to tell you, that you go in there, you don't know who your competitors are, or you try not to, overthink it, over-prepare. Do you think that would be beneficial to young kids who need not necessarily be great at setting a process for themselves?
Yeah, I think definitely, because if I do that even now, I'm pretty sure that I'll do well. Because I actually did that in January. So in November and December, I was not really practicing. And there was this one All India tournament in Jan. And I had not prepared at all. And I just went there to just like play, just whatever happens, happens. Just go there, win one round, come back. Because I was actually supposed to go to a vacation after the tournament. So I was in full vacation mode. But then I went to that tournament and I won first round, second round. So I was basically like, I'll just go play, whatever happens, happens. I'll win, lose, whatever. And I actually went and played semi-finals. And my dad was like, you can just do that every time. You don't have to think so much about, where you're going to reach or, what's going to happen. So just, try to do that every time. Of course, it's not easy because that time I knew that I was not practicing and there was nothing to lose. But I was like, yeah, actually, there's no need to think so much about anything, actually.
Correct.
Just go with the flow. Whatever it is will happen. Worst thing will happen is what you lose.
Correct.
And you learn. So yeah, move on from that and just keep practicing.
Moha likes to promote confidence through their range of products, and Purva here is a bundle of confidence. So Purva, you recently spoke of both short-term goals and long-term goals. I feel it is extremely important to have both in place.
Of course.
So tell us a little bit more about what your most immediate short-term goals are.
So I'm playing 3 tournaments next month, and one of them is national championships. So obviously I'm looking forward to do well in the national championships, and there are 2 international tournaments in India. I think there are a lot of players who are playing at a good level are going to compete in that tournament. So I really want to I'm looking forward to competing against them and doing well and mostly beating them. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And obviously for long term, it's obviously Olympics 2028. And because this year 2024 Sindhu was there, but 2028 she might not play. So I think somebody from our batch is definitely going to go. So there's like a really realistic hope. So yeah, I'm really going to try for that.
I think there's more than a realistic hope because I remember very recently, and when I say recently, I mean 10 minutes ago, you just said that the first thing you wanted to do when you started badminton is beat the bigger boys, beat the elder boys. I remember my first experience in the swimming pool with a full training team was to beat everybody older than me. I think that's what I think it's our competitive nature that spurs us on to do great things in sport. The Olympics. You talk about 2028, you talk about it being a dream for you, and also your biggest goal. When was this dream, when do you feel like you started thinking or dreaming about the Olympics?
I think I've always dreamt about Olympics, but it was never realistic kind of. Like I wanted to like compete in the Olympics, but then back of the mind used to be like, I'm not sure if that's possible. Like I used to doubt myself a lot. But this time I actually sat with Nikhil sir and 2-3 of coaches from my academy, and they actually told me like, this is the plan and this can actually happen. And even then I was a little bit like, okay, but am I going to do that? Like the whole process of, qualification process and training and everything. And then somehow I started processing the whole thing and I was like, okay, it's actually like possible. I might not qualify for Olympics, but in that process, I'm going to learn a lot of things and obviously I'm going to improve a lot. So why not just go for it?
I think the first step, towards aspiring towards dreams as big as yours is to have the right intent. To have the right intention and also to start with some form of self-belief.
Correct.
What I love is the honesty in your answer because I've spoken to athletes who basically just wake up and say, I'm going to be an Olympian. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong in that.
I get it.
But there's also a part of you that is reserved, that is telling us that yes, I believe in myself, but I also know that it is the most challenging goal I'm ever going to have to face in my sporting career. But within that, your mind is already thinking of how you prepare for it, of course, with the support of your coach, which is fantastic. And once there is a proper plan and process, we keep coming back to this word. Once there's a proper plan and process in place that your coach has laid out for you, I think that self-belief gets stronger and stronger and stronger.
Definitely.
I feel PV Sindhu being there or not, I think your goal isn't really going to change. You are now that older athlete ready. You're wearing India blazer. Hopefully you will wear it in 2028 as well.
I hope so.
So you've talked about the Olympics 2028. And you have a coach that believes in you, that you're going to make it. He's laid out a plan, there's a process in place, and there's also now self-belief that is building, that makes you feel like you're going to compete over there. You're not the only one though. There are, I'm sure, several girls who are as good as you, or maybe not as good as you, but are all trying toward reaching the same goal. So tell us a little bit more about the technical aspects of what it takes to actually qualify.
So the Olympic qualification ends 1 year before, like I think you'll know obviously. So in 2027, I think around April or March, I think the qualification will end. So before that, I at least have to be in the top 40 or 50 of the world to qualify for the Olympics. But I should be the first from India who is in top 50. So nobody should be ahead of me in the rankings because only one person can go. Because right now nobody from India is in the top 20 of women's singles. So if someone is in top 8 from our country, then we get an extra entry. But since nobody is there, only one person can go. So that's why I need to be the first person in the rankings. So at least in top 40 or 50 of the world. And of course the competition in India is crazy these days because everybody has good fitness levels. And like I said, Sindhu might not compete in the 2028 Olympics. So I think a lot of people are aiming for LA Olympics. And I think it's actually a good thing because then a good competition can bring the best out of you. So I think competing against them, it's going to be fun and also difficult at the same time.
You spoke about how there are many girls, it's fierce competition competing. You obviously know these girls, you're probably good friends with them. I always wondered, with swimming, I have my own equation with my competitors who are also, some of them were my best friends who also remain competitors, and we had a great friendship through our sporting career. I'm sure you have that as well. So tell us a little more about, 2 or 3 or 4 girls that you've pretty much grown up with alongside, competed alongside, and how with increasing pressure of goals, has that affected your friendship, your relationships with them, or does it still stay the same? Are you able to keep competition on one side and friendship on the other, or does that get mixed up?
So I'm someone who likes to socialize a lot, but when I was younger, I was very shy. But then I don't know, somehow over the years, I just became this person who wants to talk to everyone and just like make friends and everything. But yeah, I'm actually very competitive also. Even if I'm playing like Uno with someone, I'll get very competitive. But yeah, I think most of my friends are from badminton, and I am able to balance both. And 2-3 of my friends are from badminton, and we've been friends since we were like 8 years old, and we still meet and hang out, and it's just crazy because we can talk about how we played back then. Most of them don't play anymore.
Okay.
But they always support me, and they're always like there for my matches and everything, and they have also played, so they know how it is. So it's really nice to have friends who've played badminton and now they're doing something else, but they are around, and it's just nice to have them. And also there are a lot of players who are competing who are also my friends. So it's always nice to talk about badminton and other things, and it's actually great because I've seen a lot of people who are like crazy competitive, they won't even look at each other, just come play and just leave. So I don't like that. I just go play and then I come out and I chill with 2-3 of my friends. I'll find someone, I'll go talk to them. So I think for me it's like a recovery time, kind of mental recovery. So yeah.
I felt like it was growing when I swam for India, and in today's, maybe it's social media, maybe it's not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like our current athletes, our international athletes, I think perceive sport in a slightly different way from what athletes did say 30 or 40 years ago. And I think that is what has led to you feeling like I can hang out with my competitor and then I can also beat her on court, and it's never going to be an issue. So it's a very healthy competition. And I think at the end of the day, it's who works the hardest and has put together the complete game that wins. And you're all accepting of it, which is why these friendships have stayed strong.
And you just learn to appreciate more.
Right.
When you're like hanging out with the competitors, and when you actually genuinely feel happy for them when they win, you actually feel like, oh nice, she actually worked hard for it, and you've seen them working hard, and when you feel that, sometimes it's just a nice feeling to feel good about someone else's victory.
Right.
So yeah, because in individual sports it's like you only worry about yourself. Yeah, correct. So yeah, I think it's good to have people around you who are your competitors and friends as well.
So competitive sport, Purva, clearly has a lot of downs and some ups, and then when you get better and better at what you do, that equation changes.
Of course.
You find more success and then you have less downs. But it's hard. It's hard to deal with loss, and it's very easy to deal with a lot of success. When you get to the loss, it's my opinion that what brings you back to the sport is, yes, it's knowing that the hope that you will become a champion again. But I think the underlying emotion, at least for me, is there is a certain love that I had for swimming. And if I were to describe it in one sentence, I loved the sound that my arm made every single time it hit the water. So for me, on my worst days, when I actually didn't want to look at a swimming pool, and I found 1 day passed, 2 days passed, a week has passed, and I'm not going near training, and I'm also losing fitness. I would figure out in my mind ways to what's going to inspire and motivate me to get back to the pool. And it wasn't the trophies or the medals on my wall, it was that sound. So I'd like to know, what are these little nuances? What are these little feelings? What do you love most about being a badminton player?
Like you said, you didn't feel like looking at the pool or something. So similar thing happened to me last year. Like I said, I was not training 2 months before that tournament. So last year I was not really performing well. I expected a few things and I was not able to perform. And this one point I was just like, I can't do this, because it was so stressful at this point. And I was just like, I don't even know why I'm playing badminton anymore. I don't feel like playing. I hate the sport. And I was feeling more bad because badminton is like my life, like it's my identity. And I started feeling like, okay, if I'm not going to do this, then what am I going to do? So there were like so many emotions, but I just didn't feel like playing at all, because it was like whenever I used to go on court, I used to just do something which I never like expect myself to do, and then come out and then get stressed, and again the same thing used to happen. So then it was just very stressful, and I spoke to my coach also, Nikhil sir, my dad, and everyone. So they just told me, you should just take a break and just figure things out. You don't have to like stress over it. And I'm actually very grateful that I've always had like supportive parents and like coaches, because I've seen so many parents, they'll be like, no, how can you do this? You have to go and play this, that. But then, of course, my dad was also connected to the sport, so he always supported me very positively. And on 31st December actually, so I was studying psychology, so I've studied psychology, and then I had this exam on 2nd Jan, and it was positive psychology. So I was just reading things from the book, and I was like, okay, I'm reading this, but I can actually do this.
Right.
And there were like simple things that, you have to stay in the moment, you don't have to think about the future so much. And I just feel like when you're in your 20s, you just start thinking about so many things, right. And then it just gets really overwhelming. And I was like, I don't even have to think so much. I just need to focus on what I have to do now, or maybe tomorrow, and just figure things out just one day at a time maybe. And then I actually sat and then I looked at my pictures of my achievements and everything. And I was like, are we really not going to do this, or are you actually missing this? So there was this one, sound from inside that, you have to get back in court tomorrow. And I really felt happy, and I was very emotional because I felt like I didn't want to play. And that one day I actually was like, okay, I can't do this. I have to go on court and do something. So I was kind of missing that feeling. So I think, I just felt like you sometimes need your own time to figure things out and not stress about it. And I really focused on the process again. I just did a lot of meditation. I love painting. I love playing guitar. So I did all those things. I hung out with my friends and everything. And everybody was like, why aren't you playing? What's wrong? You have such amazing skills, and why aren't you like playing well? So I used to take it very personally, and I used to be like, everybody's talking about all this and I'm still not able to perform. But then I was like, I just need to change my mindset and perspective towards things. And I actually did that, and I was like, if people can believe in me, then why am I not believing in myself? So I started thinking more positively, and I think it was much better. And I won in Slovakia 3 months later, so yeah.
So, my biggest takeaway from this is that you're human.
Yeah.
You're a champion, but you're human.
Yeah.
And it is okay to, feel
Exactly.
awful about yourself. It is okay to feel awful about your sport, not want to even see your sport. You
Yeah.
spoke of words like horrible, and how it becomes overwhelming at times to, have
It
to
does.
feel like you're torn almost between wanting to get back, but knowing that if I get back too early or prematurely, I'm going to go through that same spiral
thing again.
all over again. We're going to,
Yeah.
But I love the part where you talked about, you looked at your photographs.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about what those photographs were.
Actually, I was not even like planning, but then I just came across this one photograph from 2009. I was a small kid, and I received this kit bag. It was my first kit bag. Like, I won state championships in under 10.
Right.
And I just looked at my face and I was like, I was so happy. And I just realized that I play the sport because I love the sport, not because I want to win every day, or because I'm getting stressed because I'm losing. So I just realized that I'm losing something that I love. So I just need to go have fun and not really think about what's going to happen, what has happened, be in the present and just enjoy the sport.
I feel like an athlete such as yourself will always go a long way because you come back to that emotion that you prioritize, which is love and joy for your sport. And that's so good that you know.
Yeah, and I'm just glad that I felt whatever I felt.
Right.
Because then now I know how to deal with it. Because at that time I was like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, I have everything, I have the skills, I have fitness, and I don't know what's happening, what's going wrong. But now that I've went through the whole process, maybe if something similar happens next time, I just know that it's going to be okay. Even if I feel that, it's going to be okay.
So you were first made of iron and now you're made of titanium. That's how I read it.
Maybe.
So Purva, badminton is in your blood. Your grandmom played the sport. Your dad had the honor and prestige of being umpire at the recently concluded Olympics.
Yeah.
So how has family supported you through your toughest times? How have they celebrated with you through your best? Tell us a little bit more about your equation with the different members of your family.
So my grandmom passed away when I was just a year old. So I have my mom, dad, and my grandfather at my house. And I'm actually very lucky and very grateful to have such a supportive family. And they've always supported me in a very positive way, and they've always told me to do well. Like, they've never told me, you have to win this, or you can't lose. None of that. My dad always told me that even if you lose, just make sure that you're playing well and coming out of the court. So if I'm losing a match, I just have that in mind, that okay, I know that I'm losing, but I have to give my best. So I think such support, is very important, and I think where I am today is completely because of my family and of course my coaches and the whole support system. And like my dad, he used to coach when, like, maybe 20 years back something, and then when I started playing, I was playing at Solaris Club, but my dad also used to teach me sometimes.
This is in Pune?
In Pune, yeah. So I don't know, somehow I used to be a little scared of my dad, and I never used to feel like going and practicing with dad, and I used to do a lot of time pass, and I used to go away and everything. But then I think for 3 or 4 months he actually taught me, and it was actually fun. And now when I look back, I actually feel like that was kind of important, because he taught me a few things that nobody has ever taught me, like
Wow.
how to hold the racket, or some few skills that I don't think I've learned later. So yeah, I think.
So clearly your dad has played a very vital role in your success and your career growth.
Yeah.
But who's your one go-to person, apart from your coach of course, within your family that you'd run to on a terrible day in sport?
I think it's both mom and dad. Like I said, dad is connected to the game, so he knows a lot of things. But mom also, she is the one who travels with me. Not now anymore, but she has almost sacrificed her life to be with me and support me. And I think she's seen every emotion and every experience that I've been through, and she's also been a part of it. So I think mom also plays a very big role, because she's always been there, and she has never reacted in a very loud manner or whatever. She's always been there, and I don't think everyone can have this, having a supportive family, because I know a lot of my friends who they don't have such supportive families, and it does affect their performance in a very negative way. And I think I'm really grateful for that.
Did your dad coach you? How long did he coach you?
Approximately 6-7 months when I started off. And then later I was
he hard on you, or was
kind of, yeah.
This is why you said you did a lot of time pass.
I never liked
and you ran away from his. And did your whole equation with him change, father-daughter equation, because he was also your coach? Because I remember when I was from the age of 7 to 9, my dad taught me how to swim. He taught me, how to do different drills. We trained right here in Bombay at the Wellington Sports Club. And there was a time when I felt like, okay, he's a coach on pool deck, but he's also now becoming a coach at home. And I didn't like that, and I would run to him. So did that happen with you, with your...
Not really. So we have this deal where we don't really speak about badminton when I'm home or when I'm not really playing, because too much badminton is also not good.
Sure.
But I'm a single child, and I'm like a daddy's daughter. And when he started teaching me, it was he was suddenly this different version, and I was like, no, I don't want this. I just want to be this pampered child who's at home getting everything she wants.
Now I know why Nikhil Kanitkar sir has been your coach, and you managed to sideline him into becoming just an Olympic umpire.
Yeah, kind of. But yeah, I felt like that was necessary, because then you kind of come out of your comfort zone. But at that age, I really didn't feel like going and practicing with my dad, because it was just different. But then when we used to come out of the court, it was back to normal, and then just, having fun with him and going here and there. So yeah.
Clearly, while we are both part of individual sports, with swimming and badminton, the creation of a champion takes more than just one person's effort, and that happens with support from a whole team
and
on
right
court,
support,
and then a family.
Yeah.
So Purva, I saw you walking into the studio with something in your hand. I'm told that it's something very special that you'd like to talk about.
Yeah.
So I have it here with me, and I'd like you to tell us a little bit more about these photographs and what this means to you.
So basically, this is a picture when I won my first international medal in Israel. That's in 2017. So that was my first international title in juniors category, so obviously a special one. And these are all my gold medals later I won in juniors category. And because I won so many tournaments, I got a lot of points and I became world number 8. That's like my highest achievement in juniors category, and I got this from my academy and everybody was there. And yeah, that's like a special memory for me.
So, you talk about short-term goals and long-term goals. It's almost like these were short-term goals that led to this pinnacle achievement of being world number 8. And there's so much junior mentioned. I remember meeting you for the first time. I'd come to your academy to speak to, all your teammates and yourself. And Nikhil sir was there and he introduced you. And he said, "This is our young champion." And clearly you've stayed being a champion. You've gone from junior to now senior. So yeah, it's very special to you. Where does this have pride of place on a trophy stand at home?
Yeah,
on
so
a
basically
wall?
I have like a big cupboard, and on top of this cupboard,
so this is your
this goes on top of the
possibly
cupboard.
your most prized possession. Fantastic. So Purva, we talk so much about mental health and how important it is. Has there been any particular loss in a tournament or through training, or one instance you could remember and feel like it was at this point that I was really at my lowest, and then tell us how you slowly came out of it?
Yeah. So like I said, I won 2 international titles this year, and I was actually pretty confident with myself. And in this one tournament, state tournament only, not the championship, there was one more before the championships. And I obviously expected myself to do well and, at least play in the finals. And I had that in my mind, okay, I at least have to reach finals and everything. And I was playing the quarters and against this person. So I was prepared and I was ready, and I won my first game and it was all okay. And then second game I was leading, and then suddenly something happened and I got distracted, I think, and I started playing very bad. And she covered up, like I was leading some 17-11 or something, and she covered up, and then suddenly I was just blank. I was like, okay, what's happening? I'm not able to play, and how is she like doing this to me? Like, I'm clearly playing better than her, but I'm not getting points. So that happened, I lost that set, and third set I just couldn't play because I was not thinking about my game at all. I was only thinking about how am I losing to this girl, and how am I even losing in quarterfinals in a state tournament. So when I came out, I think I cried for like an hour or something. I don't know, I just couldn't process the fact that I lost to someone in quarterfinals of a state tournament. And then I called up my dad, and the first thing I said was like, I can't believe I lost. So then he said, it's fine if you lose, you have to appreciate your opponent as well, even they are practicing. But then I just couldn't, like it was just bad, and I told him that I'm not feeling bad that I played bad. I'm feeling bad because I lost to someone that I shouldn't have lost to, and I lost in quarterfinals. So he was like, we'll talk about it. And 3-4 days later we actually spoke to him, and then he was like, if you see yourself in juniors and now, there's like a big difference. In juniors, even if you used to lose to someone, you used to be okay with it, you used to move on very quickly, and you never spoke about things like, how can I lose to this girl, or So basically I felt like I entitled myself, and which is not really a good thing, because in sports anything can happen, and if you're scared to lose, just don't play a sport then. It was as simple as that. And I was like, I've been playing for so many years and I'm still getting such thoughts, and it was just very hard for me to digest that I'm thinking about all this. But then I sat and I actually wrote down a few things. So there's this thing that I do, finding root cause. So basically you ask yourself what's bothering you, and you keep asking yourself why until there's no why, basically. So that's your root problem. So then I did that, and everything was leading to my ego kind of. And it was basically like, I've done this, I've achieved this. And so basically I was only telling myself that, you can't lose to this person, or you can't, lose in quarterfinals or whatever. But I just felt like, I have to change my mindset, and I just need to appreciate in general things in life, change your lifestyle, maybe react less, start thinking about the present rather than the result or whatever. So what I did was, in my daily routine, I started focusing on things that are happening in the present, basically. And so basically I figured that my lifestyle is reflecting on my court. Like I said, I was a very pampered child, so I used to like get whatever I want. So I think the similar thing happened on court that day, like I wanted to win and I was not able to win, so I just got disturbed. So then I told myself that, okay, if you want this, you have to tell yourself like, no, you're not going to get it now. You wait for it and then get. So I made a few changes and all that. And next state that I played, I just went in thinking that, okay, whatever happens, you have to play your best. You're going to lose. You've already lost in the quarters, so I don't think you can go from there anywhere.
Sure.
So basically, I just told myself that just go one round at a time, just play your best and see what happens. And I actually ended up winning the state championships.
My mind goes back to Simone Biles.
Yeah.
You know, four years ago, she comes into the Olympics as the greatest gymnast ever,
Yeah.
and she comes out to the world and says that I don't want to compete. My mental health is a priority and healing is a priority, and therefore I don't want to do it. 4 years later, she's back and she's winning gold medals again. But what I noticed through that phase, and the whole part of this that I do not like, is I think the whole negative influence and the negative approach that social media has on athletes' minds, and actually all achievers' minds, celebrities' minds, and how you deal with it. So we've not really spoken about social media other than your massive flex when you, not massive, but your flex when you told me and all your followers that you were state champion 4 times, over, which is so commendable. But I feel like social media also can end up having a very negative role to play on somebody who is in the public eye. So how have you ever had any sort of negative experiences with the platform, and how do you deal with it?
Fortunately, I've never had any negative responses. And like I said, my whole family, like even my cousins and everyone, even if I win something small, they'll always come and celebrate. But sometimes I feel like if you constantly keep getting approvals and then suddenly if you don't, then you don't know how to feel about it.
Right.
The sense of approvals, and social media is what? It's only to get the approvals from people. So I feel like you have to just figure out how much you want to show people. And I think most of the kids now, they already have social medias. And I feel very lucky that when I was in juniors, I was never on Instagram anything. So I think I'm very lucky that I didn't feel the need to post something on the gram and then get approval from people. I was just happy that my family, my coaches and everyone is happy. And I think that's how it should be. But later, of course, when Instagram and all these social media platforms are, even I feel like, posting things. But I think I know where to draw the line and stop myself from it. But I feel like this is a very serious issue, and kids these days, they just want to post everything on Instagram. Literally the smallest victory, they'll post on Instagram. I mean, it's a good thing if you're able to handle it, but I don't think teenagers should do that in their teen years. Because
I think that looking at what, when I talk about Simone Biles, the reason I do is, I wasn't at that Olympics, but my whole access to what unfurled after she announced that she's not competing was through social media.
Yeah.
And from top media houses to, surely not family and friends, but teammates and people around her that all felt that they are entitled to an opinion on her career.
Yeah, exactly.
It was primarily negative, and it was soul destroying.
Yeah.
So, to come back from that and be able to do what she did is a testament to who she is as a champion. But I always feel that it comes down to a sense of self. I keep repeating these words, and it is so important for athletes. You clearly have it, and you have a support team that keeps reminding you of it. And I think that's very important for parents also to keep in mind that while you are reminding your kid who is an athlete, or your son or your daughter, older son or daughter who is an athlete, that this is what you need to do to eat properly, train properly.
Just be in the zone.
You also have to remind them of who they are or who they were at their best times. That can heal them during their worst.
Yeah, definitely.
Purva, we've talked so much about mental health. I want to know, how do you view your relationship between mental health and self-care? Skincare, something as simple as applying sunscreen pre-training. What do you do? What do you do to make yourself feel better after a tiring, bad day, or just in general?
So since 2021, I've been doing meditation, and since then I've done it almost every day. And I think that's one thing that keeps me sane and calm. And even if I'm not able to do it someday, I make sure that I sit down for 5 minutes, just close my eyes and listen to the Omkar. And it just calms me down, and I just feel like it's like a stress buster for me now, and it's like a ritual for me again. And for my skincare, I don't really do a lot of things now. Like, there was a phase where I used to do so many things, and my mom used to be like, why are you putting so many things on your face?
We want to hear it. You have to tell us about it.
No, I used to just, so I saw this doctor, and then he told me you have to sleep on time and drink a lot of water. And I was like, what is he saying? That's not going to work. I'm still getting pimples, this, that. But I used to put this cream, and then before sleeping, I'll put a aloe vera gel ka mask and this thing. And then when I'll wake up, I'll put ice all over my face. And my mom was so fed up of all those things. I was like, what are you doing? You're basically getting more pimples because of the routine.
You're going in front of camera, you're now shooting shows, you've got your skin has to be clear.
I mean, I don't know, it was like a phase. But now that I've realized that it's not really about what you're putting on your skin, but what's happening inside. So I've actually realized that. I know it's a very cheesy thing to say, but it's just, I actually started drinking a lot of water recently, and meditation and everything, that's okay. But even when you reduce your stress levels, your skin starts looking better, I feel. And obviously sleep and routine and everything and good food intake can, make your skin look better. But yeah, there's this one thing I obviously do before going out is put sunscreen. So yeah, because I travel a lot, so that's something that I never miss.
You work out a lot also outdoors?
Yeah, like 3 days I work out in the gym, and then 3 days outdoors. So yeah.
I think it's more of a holistic approach, the well-rounded approach you take to taking care of yourself. Sunscreen, I think, is a must.
Yeah, it's,
irrespective of how much your mother is yelling in the background.
Even she uses that, so she can't say anything about that.
So Purva, you've got badminton superstars today splashed across our screens, our social media. PV Sindhu, Saina Nehwal, Lakshya Sen, everybody knows who they are. They walk down the street, they're signing autographs like they are Bollywood celebrities. Looking at that and having parents look at that, young kids look at that, go for their autographs, do you feel like badminton as a sport today is actually a viable career option for children?
Yeah, of course. I think I'd actually like to say that badminton was the second most viewed sport in this Olympics, I think.
Right.
And I think after cricket, badminton is the next big sport in India, because there's so many academies, new coaches, and even like the competition in India is very good. Like, there's so many new juniors who are so talented. They're like actually doing well at the international level already. So I think, and even our association and the government is actually being very supportive. I think 10 years back, I think none of this was there. And suddenly after the last two Olympics, when Sindhu won her, I think it started from Saina's medal. Yes. And then Sindhu, and now Laksh, even Satvik Chirag and Sindhu again. So I think, if parents are considering badminton for their children, I think it's a very good decision, and I think there are a lot of opportunities in the future. So, for sure. So
speaking of autographs, how many autographs have you signed in the recent past?
I think I have signed a few.
You've signed a few. You're going to have to sign one for us today.
No. I have to get an autograph from you.
So extra paisa lagega. So moving on now to our rapid fire round with Moha Play Smart. Purva, some quick questions, quick answers. Who is your GOAT?
Nadal.
Favorite place to train?
Pune.
If you weren't a badminton player, what sport do you think you would have been good at?
I think cricket.
And if you weren't an athlete, what else do you think you could have done really well?
Maybe a guitarist or like a painter or something.
Oh, one adjective to describe your playing style on court?
Skillful.
What favorite song or music genre do you listen to pre-match?
Usually it's rock. So Sweet Child of Mine is my favorite song.
Are you singing it? Are you dancing along to it? Or are you in a corner with your headphones?
No, I'm just like with my noise cancellation AirPods, I'm just like warming up like crazy before my match. So I'm just like having my moment.
What do you do on your day off?
Hang out with my friends, or like just go out and like have a coffee with someone.
And if you had to, tell a fan or your fans about one thing that they don't know about you?
That I think I'm most of the times late for all my sessions.
And lastly, so is it sunscreen lotion? Is it sunscreen spray or a sunscreen stick?
So I used to use lotion, but recently I came across actually Moha sunscreen spray, and I've been using that since.
So Purva, once again, thank you very much for coming on the show. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank
You
you.
ended your rapid fire by talking about using Moha's sunscreen spray.
Yep.
So you got a little Moha placemat
How's
hamper
it?
for you,
How's
which does include the Moha sunscreen spray, which you can now use
Thank you.
along with a bunch of other goodies in this bag. It's all for skincare, but make sure you don't tell your mom about it.
Thank you.
Thank
She'll
you.
definitely know about this,
Or
but
maybe
yeah.
she'll just take them over
She's just-
and
yeah.
you'll need more.
Yeah.
So today we heard from Purva Barve, one of India's current champion superstars and India's brightest hopes for our Olympic future. We heard about her lessons learned from a career already spanning a decade and a half, from all her ups, her celebrations and victories, to absolute honesty in terms of her downs. We heard about the courage she had to set a near impossible goal that more and more Indian athletes today are finding that they can make a reality. It was her goal, her dreams, her aspirations of turning Olympian in 2028. Let me tell you, it's no mean task, it's no mean feat. And what I appreciate the most is her ability to have the courage to set that goal for herself. Thank you, Purva.